Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11. A two-car accident occurred this afternoon on Chisholm right in front of St. Bernard Church. Plus, the DDA hosted the second annual Chowder Cook-Off at Culligan Plaza in downtown Alpena. And people gathered at the Besser Museum as RE/MAX provided free hot air balloon rides for the community. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. The news that affects you starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between. This is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. We are your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Neil Liwanag. At about 12:30 this afternoon, Alpena police were dispatched to a two-car accident on Chisholm right in front of St. Bernard Catholic Church. The incident occurred when a vehicle making a left turn onto 5th Street collided with another car on Chisholm. The Alpena police immediately arrived on the scene to examine the accident. Upon arrival, the patrolman executed various procedures to investigate the situation. Police ultimately reached a conclusion that marijuana played a significant role in the accident as well as other factors.
Arrested for operating under the influence of marijuana and by improperly transporting the marijuana and in possession of in excess of the allotted amount. There was a few children in the car. Additional warrants may be sought for child endangerment.
All the individuals involved in the accident did not suffer any injuries. As a part of this weekend's Lake Huron Discovery Tour, the Besser Museum held a RE/MAX hot air balloon ride event for everyone in the community. RE/MAX New Horizons teamed up with the Besser Museum to provide free hot air balloon rides for people of all ages. Locals got a chance to see the beautiful fall colors from the sky and a complete bird's eye view of Alpena. Children and their parents also learned about the science behind the balloon and how it works. Even though the event was free, donations were accepted to support the Children's Miracle Network.
The Children's Miracle Network is a great cause, and it's a wonderful charity, and it ties hand in hand with what's going on at the museum today. The children can come take advantage with their parents of the balloon rides and all the activities that are going on at the museum today.
The RE/MAX balloon rides lasted from 9 to 11 this morning. The fall season is bringing in the colder weather, and the Downtown Development Authority of Alpena warmed things up with the second annual Chowder Cook-Off. People in the community gathered at the Culligan Plaza in downtown Alpena to enjoy some delicious chowder and great company. 9 competitors entered the cook-off for a chance to win the Chowder Crown. People who attended today's event got a chance to score their top 3 favorite chowders. With a small fee, locals took advantage of the opportunity of good food and even got a sample of the new brew in town.
Just $10 to get into the Chowder Cook-Off. With that, you got a taste of each of the chowders. We're also highlighting Austin Brothers Beer and Thunder Bay Winery wines. And the money goes straight back into programs that the Downtown Development Authority does for the community.
The DDA is already planning for next year's Chowder Cook-Off, and information will be available for the public soon. The 20th Annual Great Lakes Lighthouse Festival continued this morning at the Sanctuary Inn. The event provides several activities for people of all ages, including entertainment, art, and vendors from all over the state. The festival boasts over 100 maritime vendors, including lighthouse preservation groups, artists, authors, and more. The Great Lakes Lighthouse Festival is an event for people to learn about our area's history and also brings awareness to help conserve our lighthouses.
These people that come from all over the United States to the Great Lakes Lighthouse Festival are spending money in your restaurants, your hotels, right on down the line. And it also helps all the lighthouses out. Every lighthouse has a gift shop, every lighthouse has a donation jar. All the lighthouses are run by volunteers. So the more people that get involved, the more that can be done to save these lighthouses for future generations.
The Lighthouse Festival continues at the Sanctuary Inn tomorrow morning at 10. Today, the Alpena Antique Tractor and Steam Engine Club presented the annual Apple Pumpkin Fun Day at the show grounds. Local kids participated in several activities which included games, face painting, balloon making, pumpkin painting, and wagon rides. In addition to all of the fun activities, children and adults were treated with great apple cider. The Alpena Antique Tractor and Steam Engine Club hosts this free event as a way to thank the community for always supporting the show grounds. But at the end of the day, the club knows today was all about the kids.
to see the kids running around. A lot of the kids don't get this. It's just silly little kids games, but they enjoy it, and it's just to see the smiles on their faces, and they get to run around and be kids for a while.
Apple Pumpkin Fun Day lasted from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. this afternoon. For more information on future events, visit alpinaantiquetractor.com. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, find out why pets are now allowed to board a well-known train service. All that and more, next. Welcome back. In state news tonight, one man is dead and a state police trooper injured after a crossbow attack on law enforcement. Here's the story.
All is quiet at this mobile home in rural Montcalm County. But just hours earlier, it was the scene of an attack on police and a deadly shooting. It all started just before midnight when 4 law enforcement officers came to the trailer on Town Line Road outside Lakeview to serve a warrant.
During the service of that warrant, a Montcalm County deputy was shot with an arrow from a crossbow. In response to that, our trooper returned fire and unfortunately killed the suspect involved.
The suspect, who's only been identified as a 40-year-old man, was pronounced dead on the scene. The deputy was airlifted to a hospital in downtown Grand Rapids. He's in stable condition and is expected to recover. Authorities were on the scene for 10 hours Saturday morning as they searched the trailer and property. We're told the warrant was for felonious assault and stemmed from an
In your Money Watch, Walmart will soon have a new chief financial officer. Brett Biggs will take over the post on December 31st. He's an executive in the retail chain's international division and has been with the company since 2000. American Airlines Group had a record number of passenger miles last month. The company reported 18.1 billion total revenue passenger miles in September. That's more than 7% more than the same time last year. And pets will soon be welcome aboard some Amtrak trains. The passenger train service says riders will be able to take a cat or a small dog on trips to 7 hours long on some of their Northeast routes. But pet owners will have to pay a $25 fee. If you're heading to the pump, GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan helped us find the highest and lowest gas prices locally and across the state. The lowest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $2.37 at Meyer. The highest is $2.38 at Marathon. Across the state, the lowest price at the pump is $2.15 in Mount Morris. And the highest price is coming in at $3.09 in Trenton. There's still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Kyle Logan will be with sports, and I'll be right back with your full weather forecast. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. It is now time for a look at the weather. Today your high was at 64 degrees and your low was at 33 degrees. Your normal high was 58 and your normal low was 38. Your record high back in 1938 was 86 degrees and your record low back in 1929 was 17 degrees. Sunrise was at 7:43 a.m. and sunset at 6:59 p.m. Your current conditions is 55 degrees outside with a humidity of 61%. And your radar, now you can see the clouds hovering over the northeast area, which brings us to tonight. Partly cloudy with temperatures at 39 degrees, northwest winds at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow sunny with 70 degrees, southwest winds at 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night mostly clear, temperatures at 58 degrees. And now taking a look at our extended weather forecast. Monday mostly sunny, highs in the lower 70s. Tuesday and Wednesday, partly sunny with highs at 54 degrees. Thursday and Friday, a chance of showers with temperatures in the lower 50s. And now it is time for today's Photo of the Day. Today's photo was sent in by Marlon Smith of Alpena. Now, this is a photo Marlon sent of the beautiful fall colors here in Alpena. You have to love this autumn season as we get a chance to witness the leaves change colors. Thank you, Marlon, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email it along with the short description to news@wbkb11.com. In your Health Watch, nearly 9 million children in America are at risk for measles, according to new research from Emory University. The study also found that nearly 25% of children 3 and under are at risk for the highly contagious illness. Researchers say most have not received the vaccine or received only 1 of 2 recommended doses. A major study of breast cancer patients finds catching cancer in its earliest stages makes the biggest difference for successful treatment. Dutch researchers compared survival rates of over 173,000 patients. They found patients with smaller cancers that have not spread to their lymph nodes are more likely to survive. Older patients take longer to recover from concussions, according to a new study in the journal Radiology. Researchers found concussions patients in their 20s had significantly reduced symptoms at their follow-up visits, but there was no significant change of symptoms in patients who were in their 50s and 60s. In national news, South Carolina's recovery from the worst flooding it has ever seen took a few steps backwards Saturday as more wet weather hit the state. So far, 21 people have been killed and 20 dams have failed. CBS News' David Begnaud has the latest.
On the shores of what is Highway 41, volunteers were loading up a relief flotilla with food, water, and essentials. They hauled it 3 miles at slow speed on an urgent mission.
By boat, by Humvee, helicopter, whatever it takes, we'll get to them.
Robert Stamper is the assistant fire chief in the town of Andrews. Today, he was also a boat captain.
There are 9,000 bottles of water and about 18,000 more available. And the police chief says there are nearly 1,000 people who've lost power to their water pump, and so they don't have safe drinking water.
Along the way, we passed flooded homes, a railroad crossing, and even a stranded rooster. From the air, we saw a satellite dish on the roof of a home that is under nearly 30 feet of water. As the boat reached the shore, people were waiting. Stephanie Wren helped to unload supplies.
We're landlocked pretty much here besides going through on a boat.
Items were distributed as quickly as they arrived.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Mary Davis was beyond grateful just to have bottled water. Brittany Mendenhall needed diapers and got them.
This is so helpful. I mean, this is good that people get all together and do this for us.
Assistant Fire Chief Stamper says he has an obligation to help.
These runs that you're making are outside of your jurisdiction. Why are you doing it?
Well, somebody in need, we would try to help them. That's what we do. You know, it's not jurisdiction in or whether they're in the town limits or whatever else. If they need something, we can do our best to get it to them.
Chief Stamper says he has never seen flooding like this before, and it's headed south. Saturday afternoon, flooding was reported in Georgetown, which is about 25 minutes driving distance from Andrews. David Begnaud, CBS News, Andrews, South Carolina.
In international news, the death toll is nearing 100 after 2 suspected suicide bombers set off explosions just before a peace rally was scheduled to begin in Turkey today. Wendy Gillette reports.
Terror interrupted a traditional Turkish dance in Ankara Saturday. Hundreds ran in fear after 2 bombs went off almost simultaneously, about 50 meters apart. Many were still holding flags to be used in a peace rally that was about to start. More flags were left behind next to the carnage outside the capital city's main train station. Ambulances rushed to help the more than 300 victims who were hurt or killed in the bombings. Pro-Kurdish activists and opposition supporters were taking part in the rally organized by the country's Public Workers Union and other groups. It was scheduled just a few weeks before Turkey's general election on November 1st. The event was planned to call for greater democracy and an end to the violence between Kurdish rebels and the country's security forces, which has flared up since July. No one has taken responsibility for the attack.
Bu saldırının 2 canlı bomba tarafından gerçekleştirildi.
But Turkey's prime minister says Kurdish rebels or Islamic State militants may be behind the bombings. He called for a 3-day official mourning period for the victims. Wendy Gillette for CBS News.
This was one of the deadliest attacks in Turkey's history. Sports is coming up next, and Kyle Logan is here with a preview. Kyle?
Neil, tonight in sports, highlights from Michigan and Michigan State who are still ongoing. The Flyers and Red Wings were both in action, and a special ceremony took place over in Hillman today. To find out the details, you got to come on back. Sports is next. Honoring and remembering the best athletes and scholars that have come and gone has become a custom for many high schools in the area. For the Hillman Tigers, it's no different. A school with rich history and a ton of success. There have been a lot of great athletes that have left their mark. On Saturday, the Hillman Tigers hosted their second annual Hall of Fame ceremony. There was a big turnout set to honor the newest inductees. The 2015 class consisted of Wendell Orm, class of 1959, first-team All-State in football as a guard and defensive end. Next was Mark Oswald, class of 95. He lettered in baseball, basketball, and football, selected as Dream Team All-State in 1995. Next was Sarah Davis Vanderveer, class of 96. She was a member of the first state runner-up softball team, played volleyball and softball all 4 years, and went on to play at ACC. Also honored was the 1992 state championship baseball team, the first for the school. That group of guys went 22-1. Overall, a very emotional day, and for the committee, it's very special to be a part of.
Year in and year out now, we're starting to get more applicants, more people applying, which is a great thing because as you can see tonight and listen to some of these stories, Hillman has a great athletic culture, a great athletic tradition, and we want everybody to know that. We want to be able to have bridging that gap between current students along with former students to really showcase what Hillman has to offer.
The 2015 inductees will now have their plaques placed on the wall, and this is a tradition that the Tigers hope will only grow in the coming years. When the cold weather hits, that's when you know hockey season is here. The Red Wings began their season last night, and the Flyers a couple of weeks ago. We'll put the spotlight on the Flyers first. Eric Peterson and his staff got their second win last night, 3-0 over the Michigan Wild, and they were looking to make it 2 straight tonight. A total of 3 goals were scored in this one, 1 in each period, and the Flyers with one goal in the second and third period came away with their 3rd win of the season. Jared Kwiatkowski scored both goals for Alpena, and Hunter Myers gets the win in goal. The Flyers complete the sweep over the Wild, and they will seek their 3rd straight win tomorrow against the Detroit Fighting Irish. The Red Wings on the road tonight facing the Carolina Hurricanes move to the second period, still scoreless. That is until Dylan Larkin gets it to Henrik Zederberg. He takes it around one Hurricane in front of the goalie and past the leg in time. Wings up 1-0. I know you can't see the highlights here, but 4 minutes later the Wings would attempt to clear. It was grabbed by Noah Hanifin. His shot was saved, but Victor Rask is there with the putback, and we are tied. Overall, less than a minute and a half left in that second period. Carolina's Ryan Murphy would have a shot on goal. It was no good, but Nathan Gearby there for the rebound. He finds the back of the net, and the Hurricanes lead by 1 going into the third period. Detroit was not done yet, though. 5 minutes into the third, 2 Wings were up against the wall. The puck was knocked back to Teemu Pulkkinen, who ended up finding the back of the net. He scored, and the Detroit Red Wings were tied with the Carolina Hurricanes at 2, and then just a couple of minutes later, Thomas Tatar with the puck. He was able to turn, fire towards the goal, and wouldn't you know it, Pulkkinen was there once again with the rebound. The Wings went up 3-2, and they would go on to get this one 4-3, and the Red Wings go to 2-0 on the season. The excitement over in Ann Arbor is very, very real. The beginning of this new era under Jim Harbaugh has been better than anyone expected. The Wolverines started the season with a loss to Utah, who's still undefeated, but since then have won 4 in a row, including 2 shutouts the last 2 weeks. Saturday brought a new challenge in the Wildcats from Northwestern. Homecoming for Harbaugh and Big Blue, and this was a game where all 3 phases made their contributions. Starting with the opening kickoff, J.U. Chesson, he was back to receive. He takes it right side, and would you look at that crease. Tons of open room. He had a wall of blockers, and it helps that he's one of the fastest players on the team. Chesson takes it 96 yards, and the Wolverines are on the board first. Now 14-zip, the offense showing their dominance. Jake Rudolph here with the play action. He finds his tight end, Jake Butt, downfield, and he makes his way all the way down to the 1-yard line. Next play, Rudolph, he's running the read option. He takes it in himself. He's able to stretch the ball across the goal line, and Michigan goes up 3 scores. Now the defense getting in on the action. Wildcats QB Clayton Thorson looking for Mike McHugh. Jordan Lewis tries to swat it away, ends up taking it away. He ends up taking it back 37 yards to the house. The Wolverines go up 28-0 in this one, and Big Blue goes on to win 38-0 and pitch their 3rd straight shutout. The Michigan State Spartans looking to stay undefeated on the road at Rutgers. Jump ahead late first quarter. Sparty with a 4th and 11 inside Rutgers territory. Connor Cook drops back, and he finds Aaron Burbridge over the middle to move the chains. 2 plays later, Cook takes the snap, rolls out right side, and there he's able to fire it back over the middle of the field. McGarrett Kings Jr. comes down with it, and State is on the board first. Rutgers would respond with their next drive. Second quarter now, quarterback Chris Laviano drops back. He finds Leonte Carew over the middle, and we are tied. The Scarlet Knights with the ball again after forcing a punt. Laviano with the play action. He fires it deep downfield. Carew again on the receiving end. His 2nd score of the game. And wouldn't you know it, this game was still going. It's still in progress in the fourth quarter. Michigan State just went up 31-24 thanks to a late touchdown. And so the two teams would then trade a couple scores, but as you just saw, Michigan State's up 31-24. And obviously, last but not least, we'll wrap up with the show with one more game, and in-state battle over in Kalamazoo between the Chippewas from Central Michigan and the Broncos of Western Michigan. A very tight, high-scoring contest. The Broncos jumped out early, scoring 10 points in the first and 17 in the second. The Chippewas battled back, scoring 20 points in the fourth quarter, but it wouldn't be enough. The last 8 minutes went scoreless, and Western Michigan walked away with a 2-point win. So, Neil, I mean, you just saw it. Michigan State up 31-24. If they're able to hold out in this one, Michigan with a big win today, another big win, that sets up a ginormous matchup next week. Michigan State in Ann Arbor, and the winner takes a lot of bragging rights and might just crown themselves as the best team in the Big Ten so far this season with that win.
Absolutely. It's going to be a big matchup between Michigan and Michigan State. So Jim Harbaugh coming in hot, and as well as the Michigan State here. So it's going to be a big matchup for everyone who is a big Michigan fan and a big Michigan State fan. So.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Dan.
Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, we'll tell you where you can find these huge artistic light bulbs on display. Find out next. Welcome back. People in Lincoln, Nebraska are seeing the light, or bulbs anyway. These huge artistic light bulbs are on display before being auctioned off to help at-risk kids in town. Thousands of people have stopped by Haymarket Park to get a glimpse at the globes that don't glow. This summer, the bulbs were on display for all over the town for the purpose of raising money for an organization called Lighthouse in Lincoln. That's interesting, big light bulbs all over town. What do you think about that, Kyle?
No, certainly. I think you see it in a lot of cities over time, maybe not just light bulbs, but I know in Jacksonville, where I'm from, you have a lot of different painted colored Jaguars around town. It's a different kind of thing. It's very artistic pieces, and it raises a lot of money and a lot of good cause for different charities and organizations. So I think that's a really great cause. If it's able to earn some money for some great causes, then I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah, you know who's going to love that stuff is my nephew, Kal-El. He's 4 years old, and he's just intrigued by light bulbs. I don't know. He just loves it. So maybe I'll probably take him over there in Nebraska. Kyle.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah.
And remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
Well, that will do it for tonight's show. Come back with us and catch us tomorrow night at 11. Good night, everybody.